Comparing climates. In this video, scientists will be able to compare climates by analyzing climographs. In order to compare climographs, you're going to want your science notebook or a piece of paper. You might want to pause the video and go get those materials. To demonstrate how to compare climates, we're going to work on a scenario. In this scenario, 3 cities should have the same climate. We're going to compare the climates to determine their similarities and differences. For the purposes of this video, we'll compare the climates of Macapa, Dabab, and Quito. Since we're going to be comparing climates, what you might want to use is a notebook or a piece of paper in order to make a real quick data table to collect their information. Now I know that in order to compare the climates, I'm going to have to look at their temperatures and their precipitations. So I've set up a data table where I can record the name of the city's high temperature, the low temperature, and the amount of precipitation. In this example, again, I'm doing the cities of Macapa, Dabab, and Quito. Next, in order to find high temperatures, low temperatures, and precipitation, I'll have to take a look at the city's climographs. Reminder that climographs show you the temperatures in the blue line and the precipitation in red lines. So again, I'm going to be looking for high temperatures, low temperatures, and the amount of rainfall. When I look at Macapa, I'm going to look for the highest blue dot. It looks like these are the highest blue dots. I will read across to the right because the temperature is on the right axis. I'll remember I'm skip counting by 2s, and so the high temperature of Macapa seems like it's 20, 22, 24, 26, 27 degrees Celsius. So I'll go ahead and write that in my notebook or in my data table that the high temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. I can do the same thing for the low temperature. Again, looking for the lowest blue dot informs me that the lowest temperature of Macapa is 26 degrees Celsius, which I will again put in my data table. The last thing I can do is I can add up the amount of precipitation for Macapa by looking at the red bar graphs. So I can quickly do that math. I'd recommend using a cell phone with a calculator to go ahead and add up the totals, and I would find out that Macapa gets an annual precipitation amount of 222 centimeters. Now, since I want to compare the 3 cities, I would go ahead and find the high temperature, the low temperature, and the precipitation for my next 2 cities. I'm noticing Dabab has a high temperature of roughly 35 degrees. That is the same as its low temperature. I can add up the precipitation, and I can do the same steps for Quito. Again, looking at the blue line for the temperature of Quito and the red bars for the precipitation. By looking at the climographs, I was able to determine that Dabab has a high temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, which is the same as its low temperature, but only gets 14 centimeters of rain, while Quito has a high and low temperature of 14 degrees Celsius, but gets 124 centimeters of rain. Now, with my completed data table, I can start making some interesting comparisons. For example, if I'm comparing Macapa and Dabab, I might say that Dabab has a high temperature of 35 degrees, while Macapa only has a high temperature of 27. Then I might want to use a useful sentence starter and say, this means that Dabab is hotter than Macapa. I could do the same thing for low temperatures. For example, if I'm comparing Dabab and Quito, I might say that Dabab has a low temperature of 35, while Quito has a low temperature of 14. This means that Quito is a much cooler climate. I can do the same thing for precipitation. Again, comparing how much rain locations get. If I notice that Macapa gets 222 centimeters of precipitation and Quito gets 124 centimeters of precipitation, this tells us that Macapa gets more rain than Quito. Using a data table to organize your data will make your comparisons a lot easier. Again, I would recommend using high temperatures, low temperatures, and precipitation. You are also welcome to use any of these sentence starters.